the strongest man who ever lived, was not defeated by an army, not by a king, not even by war. He was defeated by the woman he loved. But the real question is, how did the strongest man on earth let this happen? His name was Samson, and his story is one of love, betrayal, and revenge. Samson was no ordinary man. Long before Samson became a legend, his life had already been chosen for a special purpose. An angel appeared to Samson's mother with a strange message. Her son would be dedicated to God from birth. He would be a Nazirite, someone set apart for God's mission. This meant Samson would follow special rules. He would drink no wine. He would touch no dead body. And most importantly, a razor would never touch his hair, because his long hair was the symbol of the covenant between him and God. As Samson grew, something incredible happened. The Spirit of God filled him with supernatural strength. This wasn't normal strength. This was power that defied explanation. From the moment he was born, God had chosen him for a special purpose. He was raised to be a judge of Israel, a protector of his people against their enemies, the Philistines. But Samson carried something no other man had: supernatural strength. Stories about Samson spread across the land. People whispered about the man who could defeat soldiers with his bare hands. The Philistines feared him. Their armies could not defeat him. But the most shocking story of all was the day Samson faced a lion. One day, while walking through the wilderness, a lion suddenly leaped from the bushes. Its roar echoed across the hills. But Samson did not run. Instead, he grabbed the lion with his bare hands and tore it apart. After that day, everyone knew Samson was unstoppable. Upon hearing the news of Samson and the lion, the Philistines feared him. Their armies could not defeat him. Their weapons could not stop him. So they began searching for another way, a way to destroy Samson without fighting him. That was when Samson met a woman named Delilah. She was beautiful, charming, mysterious, and Samson fell deeply in love with her. But Samson had no idea. Delilah had already been approached by the rulers of the Philistines. One night the Philistine rulers secretly visited Delilah. They offered her silver. Lots of it. "Find the secret of Samson's strength," they told her, "and we will make you rich." Delilah agreed. Soon Delilah began asking Samson a strange question. "Samson, tell me the secret of your strength." Samson laughed and gave her a false answer. She kept asking questions about his strength, trying to get the secret of his strength. Then Samson said, "If you tie me with new ropes, I will become weak like any other man." That night, while he slept, Delilah tied him with ropes. Then she shouted, "Samson, the Philistines are here." Samson stood up. The ropes snapped like threads. The Philistines were scared when they saw that. They ran in fear. Delilah was furious. "You lied to me," she cried. Day after day, night after night, Delilah kept asking the same question. "Tell me the secret of your strength." Samson kept lying, but he knew he can't keep lying to her forever. But slowly, Delilah wore him down. Finally, Samson could not take it anymore. Day after day, Delilah kept asking him the same question. Her voice was soft, but relentless. "Tell me the secret of your strength." At first Samson laughed it off. Then he joked about it. But the constant pressure, the endless questioning, slowly wore him down. And that night, something changed. Samson looked into Delilah's eyes and sighed deeply. For the first time, he decided to tell the truth. Finally Samson revealed the truth. "My strength comes from my hair." He paused for a moment, as if realizing how dangerous those words were. "It has never been cut." Samson ran his fingers slowly through his long hair. Then he continued, "Because I was dedicated to God from birth. This hair is the sign of a covenant between me and God. If it is ever cut, my strength will leave me." Samson finished speaking and sat there quietly. For a moment the room was silent. No jokes, no laughter, just the sound of the night outside. This time, Delilah knew he was telling the truth. She could see it in his eyes. the strongest man in the world, had finally revealed his greatest secret. And at that moment, Samson had no idea that the woman he loved was about to betray him. That night, the air was unusually quiet. A soft wind moved through the valley of Sorek as darkness covered the land. Inside Delilah's house, the lamps burned low, casting long shadows across the room. Samson sat beside her, unaware that the most dangerous moment of his life had already begun. The man who had defeated lions, the warrior who had broken chains, was now completely at peace. Slowly, Samson lay down, and within moments, he fell asleep with his head resting gently on Delilah's lap. Delilah looked down at him. Her fingers moved softly through his long hair, the same hair that had never been cut since the day he was born. For a moment, everything was silent. Samson slept deeply, trusting her completely. But Delilah's eyes slowly shifted toward the door. Quietly, very quietly, she called for the Philistines. A man stepped in and knelt beside Samson. In his hand was a razor. Delilah held Samson's head steady as the man knelt beside them. Then slowly, very slowly, the man reached for Samson's hair, and one by one, the long locks began to fall. The hair that had been a symbol of his covenant with God was being cut away in silence. Lock after lock fell to the floor, and with every cut, Samson moved closer to losing the strength that had once made him unstoppable. But Samson never stirred. He slept peacefully, completely unaware that the source of his strength was being taken away. And in that quiet room, the strongest man in the world was becoming weak. "Samson, the Philistines are here!" shouted Delilah. Samson jumped up, ready to fight. But something was wrong. His strength was gone. The Philistines, upon seeing the shock on Samson's face, were excited, and they seized him. They chained him and blinded him. The strongest man in the world had fallen. Samson was thrown into prison. Day after day, he was forced to grind grain like a slave. But something began to change. Slowly, his hair began to grow again. Months later, the Philistines gathered inside their great temple. Thousands came to celebrate Samson's defeat. They mocked him, laughed at him, and placed him between two massive pillars. But Samson prayed one final prayer. "God, give me strength just one more time." Then he pushed the pillars with all his might. The ground shook. The temple collapsed. And in that moment, Samson destroyed his enemies. The strongest man in history was not destroyed by his enemies. He was destroyed by the weakness he refused to guard. Choose wisely who you trust. If you enjoy powerful Bible stories like this, subscribe for more stories from the Bible.